turn the brightness up, it makes me look like a ghost. Then I turn it down, I can't read that shit. I got a lot of problems. That looks just about right. What's cracking, big dogs? Welcome, Byte, to the channel. Welcome, Byte, to the HQ. My name is Nicholas. This is BDGE. Big dogs gotta eat. Fantasy football. It's simple. Y'all know the dealio. It's Friday, which means we're diving into our rankings. Available on patreon.com/BDGE. Our weekly rankings, our dynasty rankings. All them shits are up there. A lot to talk about today. A lot to dive into. We've got so much nonsense going around the NFL right now between COVID and injuries. The rankings I put up on Patreon as of yesterday. You guys are watching this Friday. I'm filming this Thursday afternoon. Y'all will probably have more information than me, making me look foolish, as always. A lot of Tennessee Titans players testing positive. Other players testing positive from other teams. Things are going downhill real quickly here. Real quickly, all the rankings that I did put up were, I don't want to say with the assumption, because I'm not assuming they're playing. If anything, it seems like they're going to get pushed back again. Were as if they are going to play, okay? So you guys can use your best mindset accordingly. This is what we did for the E-Town Get Down, and I do suggest that you pitch this to your commissioner, okay? We changed the league settings right now. Last week was the first time that we had a postponed game. New England and KC moved from Sunday to Monday night, right? We had that doubleheader. So with the way that the NFL is working now, like, listen, they have to switch it up. So I don't think it's out of control that maybe because you didn't set up your league in August to be this way that you can't move things around. The NFL is moving shit around. You guys are going to need to move shit around for fantasy football to make this at least like, if you don't start kind of maneuvering with the moves that the NFL is doing, like, you're just going to put a lot of teams at a competitive disadvantage, man. We don't want that. We want this shit to play out fairly. It's not going to be fair because there's too much stuff going around. But here's what we're doing. As commissioner, I'm a commissioner of a lot of leagues, so I'm not doing this for all my leagues. I'm doing it for E-Town Get Down because those are my friends from home. I know all of them. I know all of them physically. We're in a group chat together, so this is easy for me to do so, right? If I'm in a league with like subscribers, I don't have everyone's phone numbers, so it's a little more difficult for me logistically to break this shit down, okay? So this is what we're doing. If you have a player in a game that might be postponed, so for this upcoming week, it seems like it's Tennessee-Buffalo. You have starters that you were planning on playing, right? Like the Josh Allens, the Stephon Diggs, the Singletaries, the Tannehills, the Henrys of the world. You throw them into your lineup. You let the commissioner know who the backup is if they do not play, okay? So if they play, great. You got your guy that you wanted in your lineup. If they do not play, then you manually put it in. And I'm sure, because we're allowed to do this on Yahoo. It's like commissioner tools, setting, manually adjust scoring. So you could do this on Yahoo. And if you could do this shit on Yahoo, you could do it anywhere, all right? Because Yahoo and like the ESPNs and the big conglomerates are fucking fake news farce, right? They're so far behind in the times when it comes to adapting to the new world that us fantasy players need to be flexible with. So if they have it, Sleeper, Flea Flick, or wherever the fuck else you play, I'm sure has it. As commissioner, make sure you make an announcement to them. Make a second announcement so that when Sunday rolls around and they didn't start their guy and they're pissed at you, you could say, bitch, I told you once, I told you twice. And you slap them across the face with that screenshot. All right? So this is what I'm doing for E-Town Get Down. It's pretty simple. Theme of the day. It might end up getting a little bit messy as more games start to happen like that. And that will take some fucking big brain ideas to work around. I got something in my motherfucking eye. I can't see. It's a great thing about podcasting, man. I wish I was strictly a podcaster because, like, y'all would never have to see me dressing like a piece of shit. And it's just so much easier strictly doing podcasting, not doing video, not having editing work to do afterwards. Not that I'm editing this, but Robert's editing this. Also, Ike edited Fade the Public yesterday because Scott was on vacation. Scott, you're fired. Sorry, I just haven't fired him in a while. What was I talking about? Yeah, so start making moves, all right? We're also making moves on another front. Sorry, this is going to be a little event sesh. Robert, you could put the timestamp here if y'all just want to jump right to the fantasy section. But I like to do a little story time with y'all, right? I like to hang out. I only do this like once. Actually, we do like 6 times a week. But every time's a good time. It's all good times. So I like to let y'all know what's going on with my life. I also dropped a vlog the other night for the first time in like over a month. And that pretty much hints you in on everything going on in my life. But we are making moves. We're about to start opening cards on this channel. football cards relatively at scale because my homie on Instagram, his Instagram handle is Dime Cards, DIMECARDS on Instagram. So go check him out. Make sure you're following him. He sent me over an absolute fucking howitzer this week. Huge conglomerate. I love that fucking word. I'm going to keep using it. A huge conglomerate of boxes. We're going to start doing some breaks. I'm going to be opening up packs. We're going to have a good-ass time. And I promise I won't be putting my greasy-ass fingers all over the cards. We'll probably be selling off some of the boxes as whole. We'll probably be selling off boxes as we open them, as we break them. So maybe we'll break it down into divisions. Like you could buy per division, you could buy per pack, or you could buy per team or some shit like that. I'll figure it out and I'll let y'all know. So make sure you are not only following Dime Cards, but you are following our Instagram. That's where I'll be pretty active too, at Big Dogs Fantasy. Make sure you got notifications on for our channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Nick_BDGE, because that's how you'll stay in the loop with this card shit, right? We got a lot of gang shit going on. So if you're interested in buying into one of these boxes or packs or whatever, make sure you hit me up, DM somewhere or email or whatever. Let's move into rankings, all right? Let's do that. But in order to properly do that, y'all know we need to tuck our shirts in. Oh. We need to stop yelling and let's eat. Okay. So the running back position is very dicey this week. You want to talk about gambling on these sports cards, which I didn't even fucking bring up. I don't know why I said that. I was trying to segue, transition. That's how this shit's going to go today. Gambling on sports cards, you're gambling on running backs this week, man. After the top 15, shit gets messy. I'm probably just going to play the guys that I know are in for guaranteed roles and then flip some fucking coins afterwards.
Visiting team, it's your choice. Tails is the call.
We want the ball.
Yeah, we want the ball. No, it didn't flip.
But we'll break it down for you. Here's what I mean by messy, right? We have McKinnon. He's been great. But we have Raheem Mostert. He returned to a limited practice this week, so he'll likely be on the field in some capacity. Last night, we had Rojo. And again, I filmed this on Thursday afternoon, so I have no idea what the fuck happened in the game. I think Fournette's out. So that pretty much gives him the workhorse role. We don't know what Keyshawn Vaughn's role is going to be. Let's talk about him in a second, though. Le'Veon Bell is off the IR, and he is likely expected to return this week. I actually have to put him into my rankings and adjust accordingly for that. Cam Akers expected to return this week. Makes the Rams backfield fucking messy. Philip Lindsay expected to return this week. Zach Moss expected to return this week. Like, shit is crazy for these mid to low end RB2s. And for the guys coming back, messing up those RB2s. So here's what I'm going to do for y'all, pretty much. I never really know what to do with these Friday videos. Like, I got bored really quickly of just taking like 5 guys or 7 guys that I was higher or lower on than consensus. So every Friday, you're probably going to get some weird, different shit out of me. Whether you're a Patreon or not, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to run through my running back 17, my running backs 24. I'm going to run through that entire gap and tell y'all my rankings on those guys. And then give a little elevator pitch on each guy. Like where I stand with them right now, how I think they're going to do this week. And then y'all can decide from there, because there will probably be a ton of questions pertaining to these guys. Running back 17, I have Antonio Gibson. He's at home versus the Rams. Now, Kyle Allen is under center. And I'd imagine that would mean the running backs for the Washington football team will be a very, very, very hefty part of this game plan, right? They're not, Ron Rivera came out and literally was just like, he's a great game manager. Like, when you come out and you just say that a quarterback is a game manager, that means you know he fucking blows. So I'm sure the running backs are going to be a hefty part of this game plan. A few things to note here. Washington leads the NFL in goal line carries. And by goal line carries, I mean inside the 5-yard line. So not the 1 or 2 yard line. I don't know what y'all fucking use goal line carries for, but we'll say inside the 5-yard line carries, Washington leads the NFL. Peyton Barber has 6. Antonio Gibson has 5. Haskins has 4. Okay, so we do the math, 15. They lead the NFL. Since week 1, Peyton Barber had 5 of those, 5 of his 6 in week 1. Since then, he's had 1. So only 1 has come after week 1. He's become absolutely obsolete in that backfield. Haskins is now benched, right? He's somewhat of a mobile quarterback. He's going to run more than Kyle Allen is going to run. So basically, that opens up the entire goal line role to Antonio Gibson. He's going to take that entire role in the Washington offense. I don't know how valuable it's going to be, but listen, if they get one a game going forward, that's another opportunity at a rushing touchdown for Gibson. And that's what we need. Guys in bad backfields, that's where the upside lies. And to play devil's advocate, I guess, got to do that for Gibson, right? He's all the way down to 17, so why are we not higher on him? He's coming off a big receiving game, but J.D. McKissic is still very much in charge of the passing down role and the third down role. He has out-targeted, he has out-caught Gibson on the season, and he's running more routes than Antonio Gibson, which is fucking concerning, and it's annoying. And you look at the chart here, in week 2, Gibson actually outran him in terms of routes run. But since then, he's at 14, while McKissic's at 25, 29, and that's not what it should be, but that's what's happening here in Washington, okay? Gibson has major upside for rest of season if he can take over the third down role. It just hasn't happened yet, okay? Now, the Rams are not an easy matchup, but they have let a running back go over 120 yards from scrimmage in weeks 1, in weeks 2, and then weeks 3, okay? So the first 3 running backs they faced, all over 120 yards from scrimmage. We think of like this defense, we think of Aaron Donald, and we're like, no way he can run up the middle, but like, the rest of their interior is nothing to fucking be nervous about when it comes to opposing running backs. And last week, unsurprisingly, the Giants kind of broke that streak for them. But like they're the fucking Giants since Devonta Freeman. So I like Gibson this week. He's my RB17. Moving over to RB18 is where I have Ronald Jones. Again, I'm going to play my guys that I know are going to get workhorse roles. Leonard Fournette is doubtful, so I'm assuming he did not play last night. And y'all know what happened better than I do at this point for the Bykefields. You have to think he gets the majority of the work. They are going against Chicago, which is a tough matchup, obviously, in Chicago. Going to be interesting to see what Keyshawn Vaughn's role is in this offense. There's no Chris Godwin. I would be... Mike Evans is a game-time decision, so I'd be very surprised if he does actually play, and if he does, I would be surprised if he was not a big decoy. You know what they do with a lot of decoys? They get him involved very early to make it seem like they're not a decoy. So like Mike Evans might get 1 or 2 targets early on if he does play, and then the other opposing defenses will be like, oh, you know what, maybe he's not a decoy, and then they have to cover him, and yada, yada. I don't think Evans is going to play. Maybe he does, okay? Heavy usage is probably come for the running backs here. Both on the ground in the passing game. Might end up being like a shitty, low-scoring game with no actual end zone visits for the playmakers in terms of fantasy. So we'll see. We'll put our Ronald Jones there because he's coming off a fucking 20-carry game. I don't know why I'm still talking about the game already fucking happened. RB19. I actually have Jerick McKinnon all the way up here. McKinnon's been great in Mostert's absence so far. He's put up 11.9 half PPR fantasy points in all 4 games. So even when Mostert was healthy, he was doing well. And since he's left, McKinnon's just been balling right now. He's had over 15 half PPR fantasy points in each of the last 2 games. And now they get to go against Miami. Miami's traveling cross-country to San Francisco. Now, Mostert did come back to practice this week, okay? And Mostert is practicing in a limited capability. I'm not sure if he suits up. Jimmy G is likely to suit up. I think he does get back on the field. 49ers are 9-point favorites in this one. So I don't think they're going to ask Jimmy G to do too much. They're not going to have him fucking rolling out of the pocket on that ankle. I don't think they're really going to need to use Mostert that much, even if he does play, right? They're not going to have to rely on him. And up to this point, I wasn't sure if Shanahan actually trusted McKinnon having a big role, right? But he had 17 touches in week 3. He had 21 touches last week. So he's got the trust, and there's just no need to rush Mostert back onto the field given the opponent in Miami. Now, Miami allowed 24 fantasy points to Carson last week, 28 to James Robinson the week before. So I still feel plenty good about having Jerick McKinnon in my lineup as like an RB2. This is where things start to get a little fishy. I walk past the fish market. You know what I'm saying, man? RB20.
He took a deep
Melvin Gordon. Okay? He's coming off a big week. So it might be a little surprising to have him this low, but like half of his production last week came off that fourth quarter 43-yard touchdown run that he had. So that kind of like, boosted his stats big time. Otherwise, he's been okay. And this is more about Phillip Lindsay being Byke here. He dealt with the injury, the lower body. I think it was the toe, whatever. They gave him a lot of time to rest. So I think he's going to come back and he's going to be fine. And he's going to split the work between Gordon and Phillip Lindsay. I think it's going to happen pretty immediately. And this is in Foxborough, man. It's against the Patriots. Not an easy opponent. And while most of the time, like Melvin Gordon can be awesome in fantasy, it's because he gets so much valuable volume, right? Like he's involved in the passing game. He's involved on the goal line. He's not really good enough. I think we have enough of a sample size as him as an NFL running back. Like he's not really good enough to like carry your fantasy team against actual good defenses. And I went back and I was just curious. This sample size is kind of irrelevant to like what's happening right now in Denver, but I was just curious myself. In his career, his splits versus top 10 run defenses versus the rest of the league are pretty big. So the column in split is against top 10 defenses from 2016 to 2020. Out of split is against non-top 10 defenses in terms of rushing defense allowed. You could see just the rushing yards per game, 78 down to 49. Either way, I just think he's not really someone that just overcomes tough matchups. And it's nothing fancy here. It's Lindsey being back on the field. It is a tough opponent in Foxborough. I think like he can get into the end zone and get you that 12 to 15 points, and he'll be a solid RB2 for you there. But I feel like his ceiling is pretty much capped this week. Speaking of just like everything being fucking capped here, we got Kenyan Drake, man. He's at 21 for me. He's been terrible. He's not getting passing work, and he might be banged up. I haven't heard anything about his ribs, right? We talked about it on Tuesday, I want to say, because we were talking about Chase Edmonds. I haven't heard anything about his ribs. So I'm going to assume that he just got the wind knocked out of him at the end of the game, and that's why he was on the sideline getting looked at, and that's why Chase Edmonds came in. But despite the terrible play so far for Drake, he's still 12th overall in touches amongst running backs. What you have to ask yourself is, like, at what point does the workload start to mirror the efficiency? I think it's almost certain at this point that they're going to scale back his workload, right? It's getting fucking pulled bike. But you're gambling now, right? This whole fucking episode's about gambling.
It's not gambling when you know you're going to win. It's frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane.
Pretty sure that's illegal too.
Yeah, maybe after 9/11 where everybody gets so sensitive. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
We're gambling on when the efficiency mirrors the workload. Could be any given week. They could give him another 18 touches this week. You could get 20 touches. They run a lot of plays. They have a lot of snaps. They can give the ball to a lot of players a lot of times. This could be the week that Kenyan Drake dips off to 14 and we see Chase Edmonds get 11. But Cliff believes in him. They paid him a lot this offseason to stay here. I think we'll get another week or two of Kenyan Drake touches being up to the level that he's had through the first month of the season. So he's okay to start. I definitely don't feel good about it given what he's shown us so far, but he'll be in my RB21 spot for now. And everyone likes to be smart, and everyone's like, oh, the Jets are like really not a tough and easy defense to run against, right? Like, they're allowing the 7th most points to fantasy running backs on the year, and they're also, as a defense, allowing 33 points per game, which is 3rd worst in the NFL. So I don't want to fucking hear all this. The Jets are a matchup that like are not easy. You need to shy away from. Like, it ain't. If Drake fails again this week, it ain't because it's the Jets defense, because he fucking stinks. All right, so RB21, moving on to RB22. Already played last night. No idea what he did. David Montgomery. He's been kind of brutal over the last 2 weeks since Tariq Cohen went down. The opportunity is there, man. He's taken like all the carries basically, and he's taken a lot of the targets since Tariq Cohen's gone down. That's what you do like to see, because with the new quarterback like Nick Foles, you're not sure how the work is going to transfer over in terms of like where Nick Foles is looking on the football field. Is he dumping it off to his fucking running bikes? And he is, right? David Montgomery, I think, had 6 targets last week. But last night he got the Bucks. And he probably is going to make me look fucking stupid, but tweeted this out. The Bucks have just been absolutely lights out against opposing running backs for almost, nearly 2 years now. Kamara in week 1, 12 for 16 on the ground. C-Mac, 18 for 59 in week 2. Melvin, 8 for 25 in week 3. And then last week, Justin Jackson, Josh Kelly combined to rush 15 times for 16 yards. So between those 5 running backs, they have held those guys to a combined 2.18 yards per carry. This is going to be an issue for D-Mont. He does not break away. He does not have the big play ability. He probably scored a 40-yard touchdown on a reception last night, and I really looked dumb. But I have him down here as a low-end RB2 despite getting like borderline RB1 type volume. Okay? RB23. Not assuming. We'll just say the game happens. We're going to put Devin Singletary here. He's been pretty good without Moss. Zach Moss has been injured, but Moss returned to the field in a limited basis for practice, and it does look like he's going to return week 5. If the game doesn't happen, he'll definitely be ready for week 6. And that's obviously going to take away some work from Devin Singletary, and that's why he's all the way down here, despite getting like a shitload of touches over the recent weeks and getting into the end zone in bike-to-bike weeks. Like, with Moss back, Singletary becomes a relatively low ceiling guy, and Josh Allen leads the team in goal line carries right now. He's got 4 of them. Despite Moss missing 2 games, both of them have 3 goal line carries on the year. So it's like, if Singletary's not getting all the volume, I'm afraid like his ceiling with all the volume is like 15 to 17 fantasy points right now. So you bring Zach Moss back into the equation, and it seems like it gets chopped down to like a lucky touchdown or just like between 8 and 12 fantasy points. So again, low end RB2 type numbers. Though when we're looking on the Tennessee side of the ball, Tennessee has not been, we thought they were going to be a great defense this year. They've been pretty terrible, like in all aspects of the game. They haven't been great against the run, and they just lost Jeffrey Simmons. Now, Jeffrey Simmons was their first-round pick last year. Kind of controversial because he came into the draft process very talented, but he was injured. Like, we knew he was going to miss a large chunk of the season, and Simmons came in this year, and he is grading out as the number 3 interior lineman among all linemen per PFF on the season. So he was on his way to a breakout year. Love to see that as a Titans fan. But he ends up on the COVID hour list with like half the fucking roster right now. So they do end up on the field, which seems like more unlikely by the fucking day at this point because everyone's just getting COVID in Tennessee and Nashville. Stay safe out there, people. So all this might be fucking irrelevant. It probably is, to be honest. I actually went for a COVID test this morning. Someone that I'm friends with, their brother tested positive, and I was with the friend earlier this week. So rather be safe than sorry. That fucking beep boop up the nose, the thing up the nose. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had the test up at this point. Shit hurt a lot more the second time than it did the first time. I thought it tickled the first time for some fucking reason.
Tilt your head back a little bit, and I'm going to give you a quick tickle, okay?
I cried both times. They give you a tissue because they know you're about to fucking cry. It's fucked up. A
little tickle now.
Yeah, you like that? You want a tissue?
Nah, we good. Yeah, I might need that actually.
You think you're just sitting there. You're like, yeah, the doctor won't hurt me. Next thing you know, they're fucking stabbing your brain. It's out of control.
It's not going to hurt. I promise.
Start crying. It's not a feeling you can ever get used to. I feel bad for the players that have to get that once a day.
I'm nervous.
Not bad.
It ain't bad, huh?
No.
Let me watch him go first.
Are you scared? Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
You ain't gonna shove it back there. Y'all ain't tricking me.
I got it done, and then I was walking bike to my apartment. I'm like 3 blocks away from the MD at this point. I've been out of there for like 4 minutes, and I still, like, my eyes still watery. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Just fucking give me COVID. You know what? I'm done with it. Me and Jeffrey Simmons will fucking chill and play Madden or something.
Oh, sorry about that.
Want a tissue?
No, thank you. I don't have corona. That was just
All right, so Singletary is my RB23. This is where, as of this recording, I actually did just post my rankings, but I don't know I forget what the RB24 was. I haven't really decided my RB24 yet, so I guess I lied to y'all. Like, what else is fucking new? Sign up on Patreon if you want to see who my RB24 is. It might be Le'Veon Bell if he's back. I have to put him into my rankings. Some other names you might be interested in. I have Devonta Freeman at running back 32. He looked fine last week. Got very involved in the passing game. My analysis goes as far as saying they're going against the Cowboys, so... Justin Jackson, I have down at RB37. He's someone I want to see first. I want to see him do it. Like, I'll be okay if I miss out on him having a good game or a breakout game if he's on my bench. I definitely need him to see him getting the work, see him splitting it with Josh Kelly, see him looking effective before he's in my lineup. Plus, they have a very tough matchup on the road in New Orleans. So, probably fading Justin Jackson. The Rams, fucking Bykefield, man. Cam Akers supposed to get back in there, man. I have Henderson at running back 28. I have Malcolm Brown at running back 33. I have Cam Akers at running back 40. It's not pretty. I'm probably going to be forced to play Darrell Henderson in E-Town Get Down, especially since I'm going to be without my top 2 quarterbacks, Cam and probably Ryan Tannehill. That shit's going downhill so quick. So I'm starting fucking RB3s and shit in my super flex spot. Shit hurts, man. Shit hurted.
Love hurts. Love scars. Love wounds. And mars. Take a lot of pain. Take a lot of pain.
All right, that's all I got for running backs right now. Wide receivers, I'll be honest, man. A lot of these times I write notes for the videos so that I can like know which players I want to talk about, if I have any good stats for y'all. There is literally one name I put on this list. I'm doing y'all a disservice, but he's just going to keep being on this list. And it's Justin motherfucking Jefferson going against the Seattle Seahawks, man. I'm just going to throw this out there immediately. The stat I heard from Mike Tagliere, Fantasy Pros, Seattle is allowing 336 yards per game to wide receivers alone. That's out of control. That is out of control. Jefferson and Thielen are the only wide receivers fucking catching any balls there. Give me half that, and we're looking at a good game from both guys. So I love him again. Jamal Adams is out. This kid is so legit, man. Number 1 graded wide receiver right now through the first month of the season per PFF. Highest graded wide receiver right now. I have him at wide receiver 18, actually. And this is going to be the downfall of me. I have him ahead of OBJ. I have him ahead of JuJu Smith-Schuster. He's going against Shaquille Griffin. Easy matchup for him. I mean, both guys have easy matchups. Thielen going against Trey Flowers. You just look at everything efficiency-wise, man. Yards per reception, yards per target. I mean, number one overall wide receiver grade per PFF. Number one in yards per target. Number one in yak per target. Number one in yards per route run. 51st in targets because he didn't do shit the first two games. Number 8 overall in receiving yards, man. I love Justin Jefferson. Make sure you get him into your lineups, please. And I'm just going to go to my rankings right now and see like who I have much higher or much lower. No one too crazy. I got Jefferson 5 spots higher than consensus. I have JuJu 5 spots higher than consensus as well. That's mainly because Philly's just broken down right now, man. I think the offense translates to the defense, though the defense has been very, very good. Darius Slay is likely going to stay on Deontay Johnson, who is Byke on the outside. So JuJu should see pretty soft coverage up the middle. So I like him a little bit more than consensus. I have Michael Thomas up at wide receiver 23. They play Monday night, and this is like one of those tricky rankings where I can't really give you solid information. I think he's taken adequate rest so that his ankle can be at about like 85, 90%. And I feel pretty good about throwing Michael Thomas into my lineup. So he's at wide receiver 23. I'll give you the 5 guys I have him before him and the 5 guys I have after him. So you'll know like who I want to start over him and who I'm comfortable starting Michael Thomas over, knowing the whole ankle thing is going on. I'm assuming he's playing, okay? We're going to go with the whole assumption word here for Michael Thomas because I feel a lot more confident in MT. Wide receiver 22 is Tyler Boyd. Wide receiver 21 is OBJ. Wide receiver 20 is JuJu. Wide receiver 19 is Justin Jefferson. Wide receiver 18 is DJ Moore. Starting all those guys over Michael Thomas right now, and I probably need to flip Justin Jefferson over DJ Moore because fucking DJ Moore, man. DJ Moore ain't giving us more. Giving us far less than his name would indicate. Michael Thomas, wide receiver 23. I have Hollywood Brown at 24, CeeDee Lamb 25, Deontay Johnson 26, Jerry Jeudy 27, and Jamison Crowder at 28. Again, you can get my full rankings. Patreon.com/BDGE. You'll get rankings. You'll get access to the live stream I do every single Saturday, which I do put up on YouTube, but I let y'all be in there if you're a Patreon and ask me the questions in which the content is created around. So I feel pretty confident about Michael Thomas. I listen to a lot of fantasy doctors throughout the week that kind of give me a good gauge on whether or not I should be confident on a player, and I feel okay about Michael Thomas. The fact that they rested him last week makes me feel much more confident about playing him this week. So Michael Thomas, I have ahead. Jamison Crowder, I have 6 spots ahead of consensus, and I realized this morning it's because Joe Flacco is the quarterback and not Sam Darnold, which could be a problem because I feel like a lot of the production that Jamison Crowder gives us is like rollout, which every single fucking play is a rollout play for Darnold because he's under pressure at the highest rate of any quarterback in the league. A lot of them are Darnold rolling out and hitting Jamison Crowder on like a nice little, slant route over the middle or some shit like that. I don't know if we're going to really get that from Joe Flacco, so I probably need to move Jamison Crowder down a little bit. But, he's been really, really effective when he's on the field, and wide receiver 28 is not crazy. I think he's probably going to be one of the top targets there. Perriman's out again. Denzel Mims was eyeing a return this week. We'll have to see. If he does, he'll get a lot of Patrick Peterson, and again, opening up the middle for Jamison Crowder. I think the offense, offense fucking stinks, so I can't be sitting up here and being like, oh, they're going to take a huge step back because you can't take a step back when what's behind you is the fucking edge of the earth, right? Like, that's where the Jets offense is right now. Joe Flacco, he's an NFL quarterback. Like, he'll be able to run an NFL offense as good as any backup quarterback in the league, pretty much. Like, he's not going to fuck the game up. He's not going to be awesome, obviously, but he's not one of these quarterbacks that's going to go out there like Brett Rippon and fucking actually, he started off really hot, but y'all get the point. We've had like 4 or 5 horrible backup quarterback performances over the last 2 weeks, and it's like it gives your team and any fantasy option that you started on those offenses no chance to produce because it's just like incomplete pass. We're running it so much because they stink. Interception, so the other team gets the ball immediately. Like, we're not going to get that stuff out of Joe Flacco, I don't think. So I'm comfortable starting Jamison Crowder as a wide receiver 3 this week. I have Russell Gage all the way up at 32, 7 spots ahead of consensus, and Russell Gage, man. Here's what I think. Like, I don't know why they're pretending like Julio might play this weekend. Just sit his fucking. He was not ready for last week, and he re-injured it, so he's not gonna be ready for this week. He's hurt. He's hurt, dog. Just let him rest. I know he's an alpha. I know he wants to eat at all times by any fucking means necessary. But let Julio take some fucking beauty rest, man. He's a beautiful wide receiver, and he needs his beauty rest in order to become beautified once again. Calvin Ridley, 5 targets. One of them was like a throw into the ground. So really 4 targets, didn't do anything with them. Like, I'm concerned. Calvin Ridley keeps showing up on the fucking injury list too. Though I did see some clips from him in practice. He looked fine, but like there might be something going on there too. Matt Ryan is at the point in his career where he's not that great of a quarterback anymore, and he needs the sum of his parts to be really good in order for him to look like the top 10, top 8 quarterback he's been for a while. I'm about to say I'm nervous about this fucking offense. Like, I'm a Falcons fan, and y'all know I've been shitting on the Falcons for like 2 years now. We stink. The entire team stinks. The only thing we had going for us was our passing offense, and now I'm fucking worried about the passing offense. But Julio's likely going to miss. If Ridley is actually banged up, like, you got to like Gage here a little bit going against the Carolina defense. So we like Gage. AJ Brown. No idea what's going to happen in the Tennessee game. If the game is played, there are a lot of moving parts because Corey Davis is now out. He's on the COVID IR list. Dude, the bone bruise in AJ Brown's knee is very serious. Like, I don't think a lot of people understood that when it first happened. And again, I listened to a lot of people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about. And they're like, bone bruises in your knee can linger for legitimately like a full fucking year. Like a whole ass year. And you could tell, like, week 1, he had an absolute dud game, and everyone's like, fuck, why did I draft AJ Brown so early? You could tell he was just a decoy. He was hurting out there, right? So with AJ Brown, I don't know if we're going to see an 100% healthy AJ Brown at any point this season, or a 90% AJ Brown, or, you know, for right now, like, I have him all the way down at wide receiver 35. And this is against Buffalo, and they might be without Tre'Davious White. So this, you know, if you want to do whatever you want to do with AJ Brown, I'm just saying, I'm just out here telling you that I am very pessimistic about the knee injury that A.J. Brown is dealing with right now. So even if he is playing, I'm a little bit nervous to have him in my lineup. What other kind of wide receivers we got? I got Brandon Ayuk at wide receiver 34, Debo down at wide receiver 37. Debo only played on like 30% of the snaps last week. It was good to see him getting involved, though. I think they'll slowly acclimate him into the offense more and more. Again, this is a game where they're 9-point favorites, so they're not going to need to use Debo Samuel much. I don't think they're going to force him onto the field. So again, I'm pessimistic with Debo. I think, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, we'll start to get the Debo Samuel of last year as the alpha in this offense. I have Laviska Shenault right behind him, but I would probably play Laviska Shenault over Debo Samuel. So I'm going to fuck around with those rankings a little bit. He's been very involved. I think he's got 6 targets in each of the last 2 games. Had a nice little breakout game last week. And I have Hunter Renfrow right behind him. Who else we got here? I got Tim Patrick up at wide receiver 45. His ECR is 61. New England's going to be playing without Stephon Gilmore, which obviously eases up the outside matchups for these wide receivers. Tim Patrick's been a fucking... Anytime he gets on the field, he's Mike Williams, man. He's a possession guy. He's not a guy who's going to give you some yak shit, but he's a guy who's going to get up there and get the fucking ball if you throw it his way. It's Tim Patrick, baby. I love Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick, Auden Tate, same fucking dude, Spider-Man meme. Put them on the outside together. Get a little fucking... them two should fucking roll around on the Arizona Cardinals offense. That's who they should trade for. Get them two on the outside. Get D-Hop and Christian Kirk running routes in the slot and shit. Bing, bang, boom, game over. Get Kenyan Drake's ass off the field. That's about it for wide receivers. For tight ends, man, like, where do I start? Very nervous about Zach Ertz. Evan Engram I kind of like this week. Saw a shitload of targets last week, and they're going against Dallas. Like, I think this is the game that it comes together for him. Or we'll put it this way. There's ever going to be a game where you feel okay going with Evan Engram in your lineup for the rest of the year, like, it's this game, which probably means he's going to give you a dud. But Ingram's up at tight end 7 for me. I have Dalton Schultz right behind him at tight end 8, and I might be too low on Schultz. He's been a fucking baller. Hayden Hurst right there at 9. I think with Julio probably off the field. Same shit I said about Russell Gage, basically double it down. Fucking double tap on Hayden Hurst. One dude we need to talk about is this Mr. Cox. Mr. C-O-C-K-S. I know it's C-O-X. Relax.
We don't make these mistakes for ourselves. We do them for you. It's give.
Mo Alie-Cox. I have no idea what to do with this guy. You look at the routes run. Mo Alie-Cox is just getting outrun by all of the tight ends. Trey Burton was on the IR for the first 3 weeks. Jack Doyle had more routes run than Mo Alie-Cox in week 1, almost by double the amount. In the games that both of them did not play, Doyle and Trey Burton, week 2, Mo Alie-Cox ran 16 routes. In week 3, when Doyle was back on the field, Mo Alie-Cox ran 7 routes. Jack Doyle had 16. In week 4, this previous week, Mo Alie-Cox again ran 7 routes. He's running just 7 routes. Jack Doyle had 13. Trey Burton came fucking bike from the IR for the first time this year, ran 17. He led the group. So, like, more often than not, this guy's just warming the pine on the sidelines, man. And it's crazy because he's just been so good. Like, we hop over to Player Profiler, man, and you look at the actual efficiency metrics from Mo Alie-Cox. At this point, he's basically like the Justin Jefferson of tight ends, except Justin Jefferson is finally starting to get the fucking real snaps or real routes running, shit like that. So I just, you look at the efficiency here on Player Profiler. Again, you can see this is on every single player's page, playerprofiler.com. You can look at any tight end, wide receiver, running back, cornerback, whatever the fuck you want to do. And it's got all their efficiency metrics there, completely free. It's a beautiful website where we can look at Cox, C-O-X. Number 1 in yards per reception, number 1 in yards per target, number 1 in yards per route run, getting beautiful targets, number 1 in catchable target rate and target quality rating. Target premium, number 1. Target accuracy, number 1. Target separation, number 8. Just all across the fucking board. This guy is balling. He's just not getting the volume. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no fucking tangible advice about everything I just said with Mo Alie-Cox. I just want y'all to understand what you're getting into if you do decide to start him. Right now, because of what I looked into and saw all the volume and shit, like I'm nervous about it. Mo Alie-Cox is my tight end 17. I think I'm going to move him up to 16 above Austin Hooper. But just know that he's literally running 7 routes. So if he doesn't get that one red zone target, he has the floor of 0 points, okay? He has a floor of 0 points. He has the upside of like 2 touchdowns. But I just want y'all to know what you're getting into. And it's a bunch of cocks. That's all I got for y'all in this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope it was okay. Hope I didn't yell too much. I tried not to yell. I always try not to yell. And then I always fucking yell. I got a lot of love for you guys, though, for sticking around this long. Lots of love. Lots of cards about to be open. You can see I got a little setup going over there. I got packs and protectors and all that fucking shit that apparently I need to be throwing the cards into. So, again, make sure you're following everywhere so you can get updates on everything we're doing with the brand and my life and et cetera, y'all. Patreon.com/BDGE to get the rankings, which are posted and live right now. It'll also get you access to Discord, where we do have a sports card channel actually in there. We got sit starts, waivers, all that kind of shit with about 3,000 people that you can brainstorm with. I love y'all. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the iChannel if you are new. And I'll see y'all on tomorrow's Patreon live stream.